I have a very sore throat from choking on a roast potato on Boxing Day, so it's burning a bit, so take some juice breaks. What's going on? My name's Bex, and 2016 has been a bit of a rough year. We've seen some losses, we've seen some wins, we've seen some, people lose, people win, but in terms of scouting, it's been quite a good year. We found out that scouting's good for mental health. It's been the club's centenary year, and we've had a change from Wayne Bulpett to Tim Kidd for our new UK Chief Commissioner. Now, I want to tell you about my year in scouting, and I'm going to start by saying I've written it all in this book, so if you see me looking down at any point, it's because I'm looking at this book, trying to remember what I've done this year. I've done that much. It's actually ridiculous. So without further ado, let's look at a Scouts 2016. I had 2 goals this year, and that was to stay at 2 different campsites. I wanted to stay at Bibby's Farm, and I wanted to stay at Gilwell. So let's see if I completed them goals. So January, I turned 16, and I was given a cake by my old Explorer unit, and it was a pretty nice cake. It was a little cupcake with a little icing on it. I got my first aid qualification for my young leaders. Now that was pretty fun, because we went to our district HQ and we did a 9 to 5 one, and I got a level 2 qualification out of it. It's actually quite useful and pretty good. February, so in February I went to the Greater Manchester East Winter Camp with Charlotte and Phoebe from the Vlogging for Scouts team, and it was major banter, and it was brilliant, and I did a vlog on it, and it was one of my very first proper vlogs, and I really enjoyed the experience, and I really loved the Greater Manchester East team, and they made me feel so welcome, and it was the start of some sort of bond with me and Greater Manchester East, considering they're not my county, but they've welcomed me in as one of their own. So thank you. I loved winter camp. It was brilliant. If you've not seen my vlog already, you should check it out. Shameless self-promotion. And we also had the Merseyside Scouts Speaking Up event. I also did a vlog on that, where we invited a lot of people from around our county to come and talk about community impact ideas and to debate some things with some people who are members of the local authority. It was a really successful day. I chaired the debate, and everyone was happy and everyone went home smiling, and it was a really fun day. I liked it. We got to strap my camera to the helmet of our county commissioner Alan, and when he was getting the snowballs thrown at him, I captured it all on camera, and that's on my vlog, so check it out. Okay, so March was a pretty down month in the sense that I didn't do a lot in terms of scouting, but one thing I did do was go to Great Escape. Now, Great Escape is a camp we have in Merseyside for the scout units, and you basically go to different bases and you complete different activities and you gather points, and at the end of the weekend they have a prize for the most points you've collected and a prize for the best fancy dress. Now the unit I camped with came, what was it, 2nd in fancy dress I think, because they all dressed as like organs, and they came 1st in the Great Escape points given, which was pretty cool and pretty awesome. I was really proud of them, and I just basically got to film it all and had to go at 6 or 7 in the morning to the morning aerobics, but luckily I only had to film it. April was a pretty busy year. I went to Orlando with my family, but whilst there I visited the scout group Crew 6, who were very welcoming and very great, and we went to California Zoo and ziplined and went round the zoo, and I got to go to one of the meetings, and it was really good to see how a scout group in a different country ran compared to the British one. And it was pretty fun. I got a patch and I got a t-shirt that said Crew 6 on it, and one that said Central Florida Council, which is on my uniform. Whilst in Orlando, I went to Animal Kingdom in Disney, and they have a little Wilderness Explorer book where you can collect all the badges. Being the scout I am, and I like collecting badges, I ran around the park trying to get them all, and in the last 30 minutes of the park being open, I had 3 badges left, so I legged it round. I went to the bat cave, and I am scared of bats, and right at the end I got my last badge, and I was so happy, and the guy gave me a Senior Wilderness Explorer badge, and he said that it takes days for them to complete it, whereas I completed it in a day. So I think it just goes to show how kind of obsessed I am. We also had the youth engagement day, where some of the youth engagement team went down to Torred Vale, which is our county campsite, and we did some activities. We worked with guide dogs, and we did blindfolded climbing and blindfolded archery, and it was really fun. And we also worked with the Canal and Rivers Trust to go and see whether the Tord was, learn more about the River Tord that runs through the campsite, and to talk with guide dogs as to how we can make it more accessible for people with visual impairments and how we can make it a more friendlier environment. And then after that, about a week later, I went to the Altside Activity Day. Now, instead of going to church on St George's, they actually have a huge activity day and then have the service right at the end of the day. And it was really fun to see how a different district did their St George's Day. And it was really good to go and try out some more archery, to go and film some things, and to get to know more of the county team better, and to get to create different connections in different districts. Okay, so in May I started my GCSEs. Now, scary as it was actually okay, and I started them, I was fine. But right before that, at the start of the month, I went to Youth Engagement on Tour. Now, Youth Engagement on Tour is where the Youth Engagement team plus a bunch of others from around the county went down to London, went and stayed in Gilwell, and we actually just, chilled out, and it was really cool, and we got to go around London. We had such fun. So there's one campsite done. The second one, I went and did D.A.V. with my old high school. Now, you're probably wondering, what's D.A.V. got to do with anything? I stayed at Bibby's Farm during my time at D.A.V. So there's 2 campsites done in the space of a month, maybe less. I think it was in the space of a week actually. So there's both of my goals completed. I also had my district AGM where I went and talked about Youth Shaped and setting up a youth forum, and it was really good to see the kind of reception that it built, and to see people come up to me and ask when it was going to be set up and what we were going to be doing, which was really good. And I was really excited. I was ready to conquer whatever came my way. I was ready to be part of the district team, and I was ready to just go ahead and just make scouting more U-shaped in my district. June, we had the county five-a-side tournament where it rained all day. So ridiculous. Now, if you know where I'm from, St Helens, if you know St Helens that well, where the stadium is, people were actually canoeing next to the stadium because it rained that much that people were able to do things like that, and it was ridiculous. And we were just sat under a gazebo, just kind of like talking, trying to make burgers, and I was taking selfies instead of kind of flipping burgers, so sorry guys. We also had the district five-a-side, which may have been earlier, I think. I'm not too good at this year's stuff. It may have been earlier, and I did a vlog on that, and that was on the Vlog the Scouts channel, and that was the first video I did there, and it was pretty good. I presented that at a media night we had during May or June, some point around there, and I presented it there, and people liked it, and it got a good reception, and people became interested in vlogging and how it connected with scouting. Back to June, finished my GCSEs, yes, and the day after I finished school I went to Wingding. Now, Wingding is a cub camp that we had, and obviously we were celebrating the centenary year, so it was quite good this year because we had it felt like so much more since I was a cub. The last time I went wingding must have been about 6-7 years ago. So to go back and see how it's developed in a way and how it's gotten bigger and better was amazing. And I got to film, and I got to stand up and do the YMCA or some other dance, and to do the conga, and it was, do you know what, it was really good. And I'm glad that cubs all around the district, my district, and all around the county got to experience that, and it's good to see that there was that type of camp for cubs. In July I went to Gilwell 24, which was a 24-hour action camp, and I stayed up for about 47 hours. I went to sleep for about an hour whilst watching Minions, and I went there with Charlotte and Peter, and it was a really good camp, and it was really exciting, and there was lots of activities. I made a nice paracord bracelet, which is over there somewhere, who knows. And I went with Greater Manchester East again, and it was good for them to welcome me and allow me to go with them, with their county, and I made loads of new friends from Manchester, and it was really good, and I loved it. It was a great weekend. I also had my unit summer camp where we actually did some archery and tomahawk throwing, and I took the beavers on little hill sleds, which was really fun. Don't know what that was. And we had a lot of fun just hanging out as a unit. Also in July I started NCS. Now, the relation to scouting is I stayed in a tent, and a lot of people were a bit like, oh, what are you doing? And I was like, I've stayed in like 50 tents about 15 different times this year. It doesn't really affect me. I was quite happy in my tent, and I was one of the only people who could like really map read to an okay standard, and that was through Scouting. That was through my old unit instilling it into me. And then lastly in July I went to Liverpool Pride. Now Pride was really good this year because we got our own little stand, we got to like walk around, it was really fun, I loved it. It was better than last year when I went, and you know, being able to walk around and to see everyone giving the support for Pride was really good. August I ran an activity day for primary school children to see if we could get more people involved in Scouting. Manchester Pride. Now Manchester Pride was during August, like near the end of August, and that was really fun. Again, I went with Greater Manchester East and other Manchester counties and districts, and we got to parade in Manchester Pride, which was massive, like a massive event. And it was really fun to just like run around and again see the support that people were giving, and it was a lot of fun. September was a great month in terms of Scouting for me because I went to the British Youth Council and represented the non-binary legal gender recognition, and it was really good to see the support that people gave for the motion and the way the motion was passed. I was really happy to see that people actually supported non-binary gender identity and to see that people, you know, actually wanted to make that change. Also during September I went to Moot. Now if anyone knows me, the only camp I ever really talk about is Moot because it's so good, and this year was even better than last. Got to do loads of activities, I ripped 2 pairs of pants, and I got to do bungeeing, as in not bungee jumping, just running on a bungee, wrecking balls. I went on a bull thing, like a rodeo bull, that's the word, and I made different crafts, and I went, did I do archery? I didn't do archery, or did I? I don't know, but it was so good and I enjoyed it, and I love Moot, and I did another vlog about Moot, and I was just so happy to be there, and it's my favourite camp, and I got to camp with my new Explorer unit, Blackbrook and Anonymous, and it was just a lot of fun. And also during September we had our county AGM. Now I got up and spoke at our county AGM about the British Youth Council, and it was really good to see the kind of reception we got there, and it was really good to see, you know, my county being on board as well. October we had the chariot race with Greater Manchester West where I actually volunteered. We had my first ever district youth forum, which was really successful. I met Bear Grylls, our chief scout, during his show, and I got on stage with him, and that was really fun. I also had Equinox. Now Equinox is where you go around and you basically explorers chase the scouts while the scouts try to get different checkpoints, and I was disguised as a media person when actually I was also tagging them. That was really fun, and it tricked a lot of people, and it was good to see, you know, it was good to see the Scouts and the Explorers working together. November, I was in Scoutadelic's episode. If you don't know who Scoutadelic is, search his channel, check it out. I was in one of his episodes, and we had a lot of fun filming that, and it was great to see when it went out. It was great to see, you know, people getting involved, and you know, it was just a good show. Remembrance Day, I went and represented my county in Remembrance Day in Liverpool, and that was really good to go and represent Scouting and to show Scouting support for you know, the soldiers that we lost, but also the Scouts that we lost. And we also had Londonium. Now I didn't really vlog Londonium, but I did vlog it on my Twitter. It's where our district explorers, which included my group and mainly another group in the district, we went to London for a day, well 2 days actually, we slept over, and we just kind of, you know, went around London, saw Buckingham Palace, saw, what else did we see? I think we saw Harrods, we went, you know, on the tube a lot, which was really funny. It was just really fun, and that was really good to get to know the other unit. So we're now in December, still in December whilst I'm filming this, and I went with 7 FAIRFIELD to their Polar Express showing in aid of one of the charities that they're actually supporting. So I filmed a bit, and I'm going to show the video right here. Play the video.
I'm Laura and I'm from Jaspers, and I'm here today with the Scout group to watch Polar Express, and this is to raise money for us. We rely heavily on any fundraising activities like this. We are a 29-bed hospice, so we have 29 patients at any one time, which is for end-of-life care. and basically it costs £6,500 a day to run the hospice, and all of those funds, we get a small percentage from the Primary Care Trust, but the majority of our fundraising efforts like this is what helps us keep going, so we are very grateful for all the funds that you've helped raise today.
We're the 7th FAIRFIELD Scout Group and we've come along to support this good charity, and we've raised about £200 today by bringing all our Scout Group along with us. So here's the guys, everybody wave.
Last but not least, during December we had Christmas. Also, you know you're a Scout when you ask for 2 different neckerchiefs for Christmas. I asked for the Cubs 100 one just because I wanted to remember the Saints singing every year, and I also had for the UK one for general wear, and just, you know, I fancied a UK necker to add to my collection. That was 2016. Roll on 2017. Why do I click a lot? Why do I do awkward clicking? Like, it's not fun, it's not cool. I just click a lot.